Okay, that's good.
This meeting to order. Wow. Okay. So call to order 7:09. Mike P, me, Stevie Swart, Stu, Al, whoops. And Al. And approval of minutes, well, sorry. Promise I'll get to it. And then you've got oh, general discussion, but that's probably not gonna happen, right? No general discussion. And so we might as well jump to the ARPA discussion report. Does that sound good? That's you, Stu. You're muted, buddy.
You gotta unmute.
Stu, you're muted.
There's Stu. Oh, you flipped.
It's one of those. It's one of those.
You're
buttons.
muted.
It's not that
Maybe
one.
unmuted.
Mm.
Hey, Stu, you're muted.
He can hear us. We just can't hear him.
Maybe. As the leader of the meeting, Al, can you unmute him? Do you have that power?
I don't think so.
Try
No,
it.
I don't.
I can ask him to unmute. Here, I'll hit that.
No,
button.
you can only mute.
Maybe if he did
There you
sign
go.
language.
There we go.
There we
How
go.
about now?
Jack.
Oh yeah.
There you go, Stu.
I'm on my cell phone. I can't figure this thing out.
It's
Sorry.
all right.
I don't even know how to get my picture back, but at least you got sound.
Yeah, so what do you got for ARPA?
There's been no progress on ARPA. We have a meeting on Monday at 5:30 to look at a couple of proposals. And one is the money that's been appropriated, or they want to appropriate for a town-wide facility physical plant review. And the other is for the library. There's a couple of things that the library wants to do that the committee's put on hold. So the big thing is the town-wide facility review that the first select woman and Christina want to do. And can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. But besides that, we're whittling down to the last few dollars. They did put aside $50,000 for contingency money on for all the projects, which is probably a good idea because not everything always comes in to the nickel. So that's where we're at.
How's our
Questions?
project? Do we see anybody down there doing anything? At River Road?
Alan, I'm really not part of that. I've offered my help on that, but Alan, I think, wants to go handle that on his own with Carl. So
Okay.
I'm not really part of that.
There's not really much to do, Stu, right now. We're waiting on Carl. He's I met him at the park and he had a blueprint with him and it was basically like an initial plan. And then we walked around and we talked about a couple of the problem areas and some of the additions that we wanted to put on to the job. And then he said he was going to go back and he was going to add those things to the blueprint. And as soon as that's done, then comes the process of making the RFP, which is another thing that Carl basically does on his own, but we are going to, talk with him about it and make sure certain things are in there, and he's going to do his thing. And then once that's done, I bring it back to you guys and you basically approve it before we go forward with the bidding process.
All right. Groovy.
I do have something else. So we can put the pickleball in in that spot. In the spot that we want to.
Okay,
And so we have the permission to do that. And Carl wants to put it in simultaneously with this job that's going on. That we're doing.
I
that we're
agree.
gonna do to fix the park,
That's a good idea.
but we weren't quite sure how to do it. Because it's two separate jobs, it's two sources of money. So we had to come up with a plan for how we were gonna put it on the same RFP. With this, so we have the same company do the work, so that will reduce the costs. And we came up with a plan to do it in phases. So phase 1 will be to fix the park. Phase 2 is to put the pickleball court in afterwards, and that'll give us the time needed to go through the process that we need to do to get the CIP project approved.
I
Sounds
thought it
good.
was approved.
No, so the project itself is, I want to say it's approved, but not really. What we have to do now is get 3 bids and bring it to a town meeting, and then the town basically is going to vote on if it's going in or not. It goes to a selectman meeting, I think.
And then
I'm
to a
confused.
public vote for the town?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
It's almost like you have permission to do the preliminary work is basically what they approved for the pickleball. Go and do all the work and then come back and then we'll make a decision. That's basically what it is.
all right. I don't think that's a problem. We just stuffed the ballot box. All right, how about a director's report?
All right. I had Stavens come out to River Road and he checked the well and, I had power to it, and he checked something else and he checked the tank, he checked all this stuff, and he said everything is working properly. The problem is that right underneath the shed, something's broken. So he pushed something or a lever or whatever he did, and it just poured out water. So there's a hole that, the pipes come up through the shed and then go into the water tank. So
Yep.
it's that hole in the ground where you could just hear water. As soon as he pushed whatever it was tons of water. He goes, there's probably a pipe broken right there. And he said that's probably where it's the coldest, because the cold air is gonna go right through under the shed and hit that spot. So he thinks it's a broken pipe right at that spot, which is a good thing because it's gonna be a lot cheaper to fix.
Wouldn't that mean, if that pipe is broken in that cistern, wouldn't that mean that it would run constantly? If it's not filling the tank, and the tank's not,
Well, actually, I know what he did now. He basically did something that released the water that was in the tank already.
so it made the well come on and then it ran in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We pulled the disconnect a long time ago, Mike, so no power. There's been no power down there for 2 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he hooked it up. It filled the tank and then it shut itself off. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he filled the tank. I think it just dumped into that handhole down below. Remember John Patton put that handhole in there and we thought all the equipment was gonna go down there? And it just turned into a swimming pool.
So that's gotta be pumped out so that we can see in there.
Yeah,
Plus, do you think we should fill that up with sand? Would that keep it from freezing again?
I don't know, if we fill it with sand, then you're really gonna have to work to empty it if it's frozen.
But I mean, we gotta do something. What made it break? That water must have frozen like right through.
he said he thinks that it wasn't completely winterized. Whoever did it last, I don't even know who did it last, but he said it wasn't, he likely wasn't completely winterized, which is what caused it.
But there's no way for the water to go back. All we do is we drain out the tank. And then we drain whatever we can below it. We drain the field. But we can't remove the water that's underneath inside that cistern.
No, there's no way to blow. I don't think you could blow it back to the pump.
I think so. The
Actually,
check valve.
if you disconnected it there, wouldn't it run back to the pump anyway? Because it's 100 feet below the ground. Gravity?
Isn't there a check valve? There's not a check valve in that pump, you don't think? Somewhere in that line?
I've never seen a check valve in mine when they pull it out.
I hope there's a check valve somewhere in that line. Or else you're pumping that. That's a long way away that well.
Yeah, it would lose prime if it didn't have a check valve.
But he
I'm
did,
sure.
he did say that he's like, this is like the best case scenario. He's like, the problem is obviously right here, close to the surface. It's nothing in the well. It's like, it's going to be super cheap by comparison than if something was wrong in the well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I scheduled, did I schedule? I can't remember. I told him I wanted to, do it as soon as possible. And he's like, well, we can't start yet because it's going to get cold. Now, this was during that week that we had 50-degree weather. And he was like, if we come out and we work on this, then it's going to have to be winterized again because it's going to get cold again. And it's, so he goes,
I
let's just
agree.
wait until the end of March. And, I think they were supposed to call me. I think he like put it in the system, but I haven't heard from them yet, but that's the plan though. He's going to come out, in a month, and hopefully it'll be warmer, and take a look at it again and really get in there and fix it.
He obviously has the means to pump it out.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a pump.
Just a hand
And now
pump.
what? We can't, what do we do down there?
Well, let's see what it is when he does it. If it's on the plastic side, we'll have to see. Maybe there's a way to change it to PEX. PEX is a little more forgiving.
Yep.
We may have to do something to, I know I put wire down there to keep rodents out from underneath the shed, but maybe we'll have to put something that keeps the wind from blowing in there as well.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He pointed that out to me. He was like, it's not covered, so the air just goes right through.
It blows right through, though. Down there, the wind must be like 50 miles an hour.
So,
Okay. He's gonna have to cut the floor out to get in there.
so there's actually a big section of the floor that comes up. I don't know if it's
Oh,
still
beautiful.
screwed down or not, or you know what I mean? I don't know if it just comes up or you got to take some screws out, but I can definitely see it. It's a pretty big section that you can just pull out, and it gives you direct access to that spot under
Yeah,
the
I think-
shed.
Okay.
We made it that way so you could get in there.
Yeah, that makes sense, because that's the only way they could have plumbed it once they put it together. All right.
And if we have
All
to,
right,
I can make an insulated cover for the cistern, at least. I could probably make a box out of foam underneath that plywood floor to keep the wind out. And the wind is what kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I think he said that was like $140 to come out and check that. So
Well, that's not bad for a service call.
yeah. The Lakes League basketball is over. We just had our little tournaments. Each town kind of took a tournament. So we had the 5th and 6th grade boys, and then I also had the 3rd and 4th grade girls tournament. It wasn't between all the towns. It was just Wellington, Ashford, Bolton. So we did a little round robin thing. So that's all done. We just finished up the last regular season games for the high school league yesterday. So that's going to be over soon as well.
They having a tournament?
They will, yeah. That's this coming weekend. They'll be in Hebron and Marlboro. So we have the summer camp stuff already online. The registration form and all that. So we have 11 people signed up for summer camp already.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have our April camp we're doing as well. And we have 7 signed up for that. So that's pretty good.
Is this gonna be another free one?
No, it's half cost. So normally camp's 200 a week, so it's gonna be 100. But there's
Cool.
another fee if you want the aftercare. It's another $25 fee.
It's still good.
Yeah,
Who's subsidizing that? It's still ARPA money?
yep. And then, yeah, and then the last part that I was just gonna tell you about was, I presented the budget. They asked me a lot of questions. I felt like I answered those questions. And, yeah, I mean, of course, that's my opinion. I felt like I answered the questions, appropriately. But the Board of Finance, they may want to take some of the fund balance, which I strongly encourage them not to do, so that we could, settle all of the issues that we have, the maintenance issues, all the things that we want to do. So I encourage them not to do that.
They wanna just
What you
take the fund balance, or they want us to use it to offset budget?
That it could be that. It could be that. Either way, in my opinion, it's taking it.
Yeah, sort of.
We've
So,
never
and I-
done that before.
I told them, I gave them a list of all the jobs that I wanted to do with what I thought was, it's an estimate, but it's only really an estimate based on what I could find, so who knows if it's even accurate, but I gave them a list of all of the jobs that we need to have done. And I started looking into some of that stuff. I contacted a Atlas Construction, maybe is what they're called, Atlas something or other. And I wanted them to come work at the fence, put the fence in over here at the baseball field and work at the fence at River Road. And the guy said he was going to get back to me because he wants to come out and look at the jobs. And I was also going to ask that guy about if they could put the scoreboard in. So I now know where to buy the exact same scoreboard that we have from River Road. And the thing is, I just don't want to buy it and then have to store it somewhere, for how long. I kind of want to have it lined up and ready to go, So I was going to have that company do those 3 jobs. Unfortunately, the guy didn't get back to me. I talked to him over the phone and he said, I will be the one to come out and I want to look at these jobs. He's like, but I'll call you back and let you know when I can come out. And I haven't heard back from him yet. And that was 2 Fridays ago.
Atlas is a big company,
Hmm.
Atlas Fence does highway stuff and that's a big company.
Yeah. Well, I got them. They were recommended from Troy because I asked him, I need a couple companies because Kent Fence, I can't ever get a hold of them. So he gave me a couple. I got a company from the school. But I figured out that Atlas company is a state approved vendor. So, and I didn't know this, but when we have a job that's over $5,000, we can use a state approved vendor without putting it out to bid, apparently,
Oh,
because they're guaranteed to be
Reasonable.
yeah, exactly, like the lowest costs. So,
all right. Chase him a little bit and see if you can get him to come down and look.
yeah, I'll call him back. I'll call him back tomorrow. I'm just trying to finish up with basketball. And then I just had the coaches meeting actually for the Lakes League. So all the coaches came in and I got their feedback and proposed some things to them. I'm now the new rules guy for the Lakes League. I'm like the rules commissioner or something or other. So I posed questions to them to get their input on it. And I have all these ready to go as well. These are the things that I bring looking for sponsorships for the concerts. Oh, and I have all the concerts lined up as well. So they're ready to go. These are all in their envelopes. So one day this week, or it might even take 2 days, I'm gonna go out and deliver them to people with my own two hands, because I actually was told multiple times last year that they appreciated me asking for money in person. You
Yeah.
know, they say we get things all the time asking for money, and it's an email, and I don't even know what I'm giving the money to, you know?
Email
So-
or text.
Yep, so that's why, I mean, that's was my thinking when I did it that way last year, so I'm gonna do it that way again. And hopefully we can get a lot of sponsors,
All right, that's good. Be a good salesman.
try my best.
Make sure you brush your teeth that day. When is your next BOF meeting? Do you have to go to another meeting to talk about your budget?
Hang on one second.
Because a couple of us should come.
It looks like March 9th and March 16th are 2 days that's when they go back and like revisit all of the different budgets that were proposed to them.
So you
So
may or may not be on one of those nights,
Exactly.
depending on length of time.
And then they have here on this list, March 23rd, if needed. So I guess if they went March 9th and March 16th, and they didn't get everything finished, they'd go have another one on the 23rd. So,
I think we have to fight against them asking for our fund balance money to be used for our budget. That's crazy. Because you're gonna have some years when there's no fund balance. And then there's an expectation that 25% of your budget is taken care of that way, and you're not gonna have it to do it, and that's salary or working in the fields or whatever,
yeah.
hard
And
cost items.
yeah, and I had to really sort of explain things to them, because they just look at the numbers, so they go, you got $55,000 in fund balance, that's outrageous. But when you look at it and it's broken down, like a certain amount of that money can only go to scholarships, a certain amount of that
Yep.
can only go for a scoreboard, a certain amount can do this, that, and the other thing. So we really only have 34 or 35,000 to work with. And we want to keep money in there in the event that, something happens, or we want money in there also because, Halls Pond loses money every year, and then we have all these jobs that we want to do as well, to really, clean things up, make the park and the pond these places that people want to go to again, to put the effort in to make it nice so that people want to come out. And so is that total amount a lot of money? It is, but there's also a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and I tried to explain that to them. We'll see what they say, but they did not like when I told them that I wanted more money for the landscaping, and then they were very I don't want to say skeptical, that's not the right word, but they kind of questioned the electricity as well, which I was surprised about. And I said something in the meeting that I wasn't aware of. I said, the electric costs are going to go up, but I didn't realize it at the time, but the town is actually locked into a certain rate, but the town is not locked into a certain rate for the delivery charge. So the delivery charge is going to go up as well, so I said something that wasn't factually correct, but it sort of is, and then we're adding 8 new lights, and it's going to be significantly
Right, that's
more
gonna
money.
increase your cost.
That's why I don't really understand why they would question the electricity, to me, that's a no-brainer,
A hard number. It's what the number is.
Well,
The lights
it's
burn
not,
at a certain wattage for a certain amount of time, and that's what it costs.
but I think they wanted me to have like a dollar amount, like to say, you know, the electric bill for 2023 is going to be $2,450 based on X, Y, and Z. And then I didn't have that. I just said, no, this is.
I'll figure that out for you with the cost of the new lights. Can you send me last year's cost for running the park,
Yeah,
the lights?
I'll have to get that from finance.
We have it on the
Yeah,
same.
send that and I'll figure out your cost.
We have it on the same time schedule, on and off.
Yeah, we can, but an hour here or there won't make a big difference, but yeah.
And then, you know, like I said before about the landscaping, you know, someone else looked at the spreadsheet and looked at, you know, River Road Park, you know, and we have $5,400 for landscaping there. And there was currently $2,700, something along those lines, that's been spent to date, you know. So when I'm talking about this new, you know, style of landscaping that we want to go to, somebody from the finance board says, why would we do that? We didn't even spend all the money for this year. You know, like he's trying to say like we saved money. And I'm like, no, that's not true. We are not even finished with this fiscal year. We still have
Right.
4 more months to pay for landscaping. So that money is gonna, you know, it's gonna be used, you know, but
When's your
like I
year
said,
over?
Huh?
June? When is your year over? June?
End of
Fiscal
June,
year,
yeah.
June 30th? So you got spring and half a summer. That's gonna be a lot of the landscaping charges at River Road.
Yeah, and not just there, everywhere, you know, but that's what I mean about like only looking at the numbers, you know, not really having an explanation with the numbers, you know.
See if you can figure out when they may question you about River Road or your budget at the next BOF. So that we can pick one of those nights and maybe that's the night we can be there. I
Okay.
can't go to all 3 of those nights.
Okay.
See if you can get them to slide you in on the 16th. That'd be key.
I'll shoot a message to the woman in charge and see what she says.
Okay. All right. What else we got?
That's all I got.
The well ends up being a good thing. We'll just figure out how to keep it from freezing. We never had that problem before and we've had colder winters.
But we had a heat strip on that. For a
We
while.
got a heat strip. There's a heat tape wrapped around all the pipes up above and they go down a little bit on each side, but not way down. And that does run all winter as long as someone threw the switch on.
Yeah. But who knows if it's even running? You know what I mean? Like maybe it's on there, but it's not working, or I don't know.
There's a winter summer switch
Yep.
when you open the door.
Yeah.
Basically it's on off.
But I
it
mean,
heat
like,
ra- it's
basically what I was saying is it's still functioning properly is what I'm saying, you know.
yeah, but it wouldn't have saved the pipe that broke 2 feet underneath the shed.
Yeah. Well, I did ask him, I'm like, at the end of every, you know, season, can your company just come out and winterproof it for us? You know, I don't think that would be a huge cost. And they're, you know, and they said, yeah, that's something we could do. So I think that's the route to go with that. Once this thing gets all fixed again, you know, like let the professionals handle it, you know?
Yeah, and that ends up being part of your fund balance. You pay for that instead of asking the town for more money for that.
Yep.
There's things like that that you can use your fund balance for.
Yep.
I'm all for that. That way I'm not taking my little mouser down there and blowing those pipes out.
And I did
I can
not
live
mean
without
to
that.
imply that you're not a professional. Okay.
Oh, I am not a professional I'm not a professional pipe blower by any means. All right, what else? We got, did basketball go okay with those high school kids? No problems?
Yeah, I mean, everything's been okay with that. Yep.
That's good.
No
All right,
fights.
so-
Not like last year. No
That's-
keying of
yeah, that's good.
cards.
Do we have a police presence at the playoff games?
For the little kids? No.
No, for high
For high
school.
school?
Well, they're coming up. I don't know if Hebron and Marlboro is planning on doing that.
I don't know. I was just asking if we do have police presence. Do we
Well, that-
typically?
That would be their decision, I guess. I know Hebron had police there last year. but
Oh, we're not.
only because of that incident that happened between the Ashford kid and the Hebron kid, so.
But we don't host it. We're not
no.
hosting any of
They
it.
wanted to host it.
Okay.
Hebron wanted JV and Marlboro wanted varsity, and I said, take it.
Good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business? Does anybody want to adjourn?
Al, did you fix the chain down there that I mentioned?
Nope.
I was gonna
It's,
say,
it's still tucked away, like however you tucked it in there, it's still tucked away.
it
And the
looked like it was
lock-
pretty low the other day, like you could
Yeah.
drive.
You probably could. So,
Okay,
You don't want anybody driving in there.
isn't it, so I saw that the lock is broken. But isn't it, didn't like the the thing that goes into the pole, didn't that come out? Or is it just the lock that's broken?
I think just the lock was broken.
Okay,
Almost looked like somebody cut it to get in. Maybe somebody cut it to get in, like the baseball people or the, wouldn't be this, it wouldn't be the porta potty guy, because that's outside, but it almost looked like somebody cut it, because it, I mean, it didn't just snap.
right.
Or maybe the landscape guy had to get in there and he forgot his key or something, but he carries bolt cutters, who knows?
Sorry, I'll get a lock on there, a new one. I was kind of hoping that maybe the people would just come out for the fence and just get it done all at one shot, you know? But
I think you gotta protect the park. If it's
Yeah.
worth going down there and figuring it out.
Yeah, even if it's, I didn't have anything, I just put in what I had with me, but even if it's just a, what do you call it, a carabiner temporarily, just to make it look like it's
clean
good.
up. Yeah,
Something else for you to do, Al. In the snow tomorrow, go do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get to it
Bring
on
a
Wednesday,
shovel.
okay?
Shovel, flamethrower.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn? Okay, Michael, second. Steven. All right. Find out about the Board of Finance so that we can give you some support.
All right, I shall.
In the meantime, I'd make a list of all the things that you want to do and put a general dollar value on them so that you can say,
I got that.
here's where that money's earmarked.
I already got that.
Okay. All right. And the Red Sox are 2-0 on the season, FYI.
What
Pretty
high
exciting.
school? What high school were they playing?
Played a girls' high school. And the girls were short a couple players. Come on, get on the bandwagon, Mike. All right, gentlemen. See you guys soon.
Right.
See ya.